it hurts. And I'm too sexy for Milan, too sexy for Milan, New York and Japan.
Hey, welcome everybody to this week's edition of Doing It with Stiles. I got a really special guest today, and as you can see, she, he, she, them, or they.
Call me what you want.
My special guest today is Jimmy Emerson. If you've been in Vegas for any length of time at all, you know Jimmy Emerson. Jimmy is a drag performer, and you've been here, what, about 40 years now?
Going on 40 years. Moved here in 1984.
Wow. So now you're a native now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know everything about Vegas.
What's the limit? 25 or 30 years? If you've been here 25 years?
I think 25 you're considered a native.
Okay.
Or not
I got one more year.
A local, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting there. So.
Yeah. So Jimmy has a show here called How to Jimmy Vegas, which is brought to you and produced by What's Up Vegas. Say it with me. What's Up Vegas.
Not .com.
Right.
What's Up Vegas.
Right.
And you will see the full magazine will come up, and we get to film a show right here at your beautiful studio.
Thank you.
Every other week.
And Jimmy brought in these chairs, which has
Something simple,
really dressed up our sets here, and we have a lot of fun too.
Absolutely.
You have some great guests on, and so I really wanted to talk to you about a couple of things.
Sure.
Number one, I wanted to talk to you about drag. Drag has been around for a long time.
Well, yeah.
So how did drag get started?
Well, there's really no particular time when drag started. Drag, the term D-R-A-G, from what I understand in my history background, is that in the Victorian and Shakespeare times, women were not allowed to be on stage.
Right.
It was a whole different time. It's almost like history's repeating itself with today, if you know what I mean. But we'll talk about that later. But back in the olden days, men would play the part of women. If the script was called for a woman, it would be a man dressed resembling a girl.
Gotcha.
In the script, it would say, Ophelia enters, D-R-A-G, meaning dressed resembling a girl.
Okay.
So the term drag was born. And so from now, it's just a simple term for anybody. It can pertain to a male or a female. If you're a woman and you're dressed like a man, you're in drag.
Okay.
If you're a man and you're dressed like a woman, you're in drag. It's just a matter of changing your look. If for a woman, she might put on a fake mustache or a beard and a short wig, or pull her hair back and put on a hat. And for drag, for most of the guys that do it, we take a lot of time, especially if you're a performer. You don't want to just look like a woman. You want to look like a fabulous woman.
Right. Over the top.
Over the top.
Right.
Absolutely. So the bigger the hair, the bigger the costume, and of course it's turned into a multi-billion-dollar industry now with the RuPaul franchise, the WoW productions, movies that have been made about female impersonators. So I guess drag is just come a long way.
Drag is more of a slang
it
term,
truly
kind
is
of,
just a slang, going to a drag
but
show.
I wasn't aware that if it's a female dressing as a male, that's also considered drag.
Sure. Well, there's drag
realize
queen and drag king.
Oh, okay. All
so
right.
And it doesn't matter about your sexuality. You don't have to be gay to do drag. You just don't. I mean, there is an old saying, though, show me a man in a dress and I'll show you a gay man.
Yeah.
That's pretty much true. I don't know very many straight men who do drag, but actors have done it for years.
Right,
Flip Wilson.
But that's a whole different. That's acting.
It is acting and
because
doing a
the whole drag scene is that the entertainment, the kind of almost shock value.
That's the deal, especially if and that's the thing for me. I don't mind being called a drag queen at all, because that's what I am.
Right.
The real term is female impersonator.
Right.
That means, you're dressed to look like a woman. And the better you look and the more you can fool people, because that's what the show Lage for years.
Right.
It was based on the original play, La Cage aux Folles. The French play, and came to America. There was the movie, and then they did the musical, Lage.
I didn't realize it was a musical.
Yeah, it was a play first, and then they did the musical. They added music to it. That's where that famous song "I Am What I Am" comes from. And it's a lot of good music. David Merrick and the famous composer did all the music for it. It's a great score, and in that term is when, if you can, like at Lage, at the Riviera, we ran 24 years. We were not allowed, the producer, absolutely, we were not allowed to go out into the casino or anywhere past the backstage in drag.
Really?
We had to show up dressed as a man,
Okay.
with your jeans and your t-shirt and whatever, look like a man. You come in, with a big dressing area, you get ready, you get dressed, you see the show. It's wow, beautiful women.
Yeah.
You know, we had lookalikes too. We had
Of course.
Cher and Liza Minnelli, and I did Winona Judd for a while.
Wow.
Any of the big girls I would do. I did Roseanne Barr back in the 90s when you could stand her.
Now that I'd love to see. You're
Well,
gonna
she
have
was
to do that
kinda
on-
easy to do
You're gonna have
'cause
to
she's
do
so
that on
not-
one of your shows. That would be.
I'll send you a picture.
Okay,
I'll
yeah,
send you
back
some
in the
pictures
day,
to show.
right?
Absolutely. But and then after the show was over, we had to take everything off, and once in a while, the producer, depending on the audience, would let us step into the lobby to
Okay.
sign autographs. Once we
Gotcha.
got a color program, people wanted to get their picture
Sure.
and a program.
What
So-
was the reasoning behind that? Behind not
because
letting you out
it's an
on-
illusion.
Gotcha.
You know,
okay.
you don't want to say, "Oh, that's that queen."
Got it.
Oh,
Okay.
oh,
Well,
there's
that makes sense.
It's giving the show away.
Right, that makes
You know,
sense.
people are paying to come see men who look like beautiful women.
Right.
And it's not easy to get in a show like that. There's lots of drag queens. I call them bar queens. I started as a bar queen. That's, working clubs, mostly
Right.
gay clubs, or anywhere there's just having a party. People hire drag queens for all kinds of reasons. Mainly because they either look like a famous person, or they have a good personality, or because it's just fun. So most handsome man can walk in, and when they walk back out of the dressing room, they look exactly like Marilyn Monroe,
Right.
or Lady Gaga, or whatever.
And there are a number of female performers that, or impersonators, excuse me, that actually do perform live
oh sure,
the music, and they sing and they.
I do mostly live. I'm mostly live. Once in a while, I'll do a lip sync if I'm doing a comedy number.
Right.
Sometimes it's better if I lip sync it because I've got props and what have you.
Yeah.
So.
And speaking of Lage, you have a show coming up.
Thank you. I do. Lage, like I said, started in the early 80s in LA. Lou Paciocco, I was trying to think of the producer's name, put an evening at Lage. And it was an evening, and when it first started, it was right as the movie and the musical came out.
But it isn't in the movie. Wasn't Lage the venue where
It was,
they were performing?
and I'm trying to remember, you may be correct. The venue, I think, was called something else. Evening,
Could
yeah,
be.
It was Welcome to Lage. You have entered
yeah,
Lage.
that's what I thought.
Which means the bird.
Sure.
So, but it became synonymous with drag queens and female impersonators.
Of course.
And of course, what's that famous? I can't even think of his name. Put me on the spot. Played the main role. Well, Robin Williams was in the movie.
And oh,
well, that
come
was
on,
Birdcage.
No. I know.
I know my
I got
brain
his
froze.
name, and yeah. Well, it's a bitch getting
we'll
old.
insert
Huh?
it. But
Sorry, no offense.
not at all. I prefer to do live.
Yeah.
My forte is with the microphone and to MC and host, get the audience warmed up, get ready, and then bring on these amazing people. I've worked with so many amazing people over the last 30 plus years that it's just, and they're still around, most of them today. My best friend Brent Allen is one of the best Bette Midlers. You swear you're looking at Bette Midler.
Wow.
And he comes out, he's just a normal guy,
So tell us about your show.
But, I've changed the name a little. It's called Lage Cabaret. We're going to open August 10th. We're doing our first premiere performance August 10th at the Composer's Showroom at the Commercial Center on East Sahara, 953 East Sahara. It's a big shopping center there.
And it's right in the center.
It's right in the
as
center. You
drive
pull in, and it's a big building in the middle, and you can't miss it. It says Composer's Room right on the thing. And it's not hard to find. There's plenty of parking. The food is incredible. The owner, Damon Costa,
Right.
Damien Costa, was entertainment director for years and years with Caesar's Palace, and he knows his business. In fact, his family opened the Commercial Center in the 60s. I think it was father or his grandfather.
The Commercial Center used to be one of the
it was
places in town.
the place to go, like the
Right.
Showcase Mall would
And
be
then it
today.
kind of fell
Well,
off
over
of the
the
cliff.
years,
and then
like
it's-
any shopping
but
center.
it is coming back.
Big time comeback.
Yeah.
And Damien is one of the main reasons I I know there's a Liberace event coming to
Right.
be there. They've already renamed that, what used to be Karen Avenue is now called Liberace Way.
Oh, no kidding.
They
The
just
one- that's
changed it the last
street
couple
that
of
goes
years.
along the back
Right.
side there. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think the plans are including a revamp of the Liberace Museum with the fountains and the
Right.
whole nine. I know there's a lot of things in the works. I'm just talking off of things I've heard.
Sure.
I'm not for sure. But Damien Costa did open the Composer's Room. It's a beautiful venue. So many local entertainers
Well,
perform there.
I know at least a half a dozen that perform
Oh
there.
my gosh, Vita
And
Drew.
they all love it.
Vita was on one of my
Yeah,
shows recently,
right.
and she's there with a good friend Tony Arias, who was also on my show recently.
Yep.
He's hysterical. Vita plays and sings and does funny songs, original songs. Keith Thompson is there. Kelly Clinton and
Yeah.
Clint Holmes,
Yep.
they're constantly doing. She's always doing a show. There's just tons of people. Look up. Just go to thecomposersroom.com.
And now it's Jimmy Emerson.
Composersroom.com.
Right.
I want to get it all out there because if you
So
just put
tell me
Composer's
about
Room-
this show that you're putting on there.
Lacage. I'm sorry, I get my
No,
brain
I
mixed
know.
up.
But
My show
this
is called
good
Lacage
information.
Cabaret, and it's a mini version of the big show that ran for years and years on the Strip. I'm hosting with my very dear friend Tommy Rose from Palm Springs. He and I have done a two-man show over the years
Right.
called Funny, Fat, and Fabulous. And we're very similar, like as far as personalities and songs. He does the old performance, like he does Carol Channing.
Oh,
You
no
remember
shit.
Carol Channing? Mae West.
Wow.
You're old enough to remember
Yeah.
Mae West, and I am, but so many younger people say, "Who is Mae West?"
Why don't you come up
But
and
he
see
looks
me
just like him, and he
sometime?
comes out, and it's all live. We only do it live. And I'll do Winona, and I do this country western character I call Tammy Spraynet. It's a hodgepodge of all the big haired girls from the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
Dolly Parton, Loretta Lynn, Tammy Wynette. And we have a lot of fun. So Tommy and I are hosting Lacage Cabaret.
Okay.
And I've got two alumni, two good friends of mine, Sammy Gonzalez, who is Liza Minnelli. You swear it was Liza. He just transforms himself. And then later in the show, he comes out as, are you ready? Debbie Reynolds.
No kidding.
Debbie Reynolds. He and Debbie were best of friends.
Wow.
He used to do her hair for years and travel with her. And so he just looks and sounds just like her because they were best of friends. And the big stuff, well, I got two other. Stephen Wayne is coming on, and you'll swear you're going to see Cher. It is Cher. His Cher is eye-popping. It's unbelievable. And then he'll come back later in the show as Celine Dion.
Oh, wow.
And he'll blow your mind. He looks just like both of the characters. And then we got very lucky in this first premiere Lacage Cabaret show to get the amazing Ada Vox. Ada Vox was recently she'd seen him on TV. It was on American Idol.
Right.
He also was one of the runner-up. I don't remember his title, where his placement was, but he's got to be well known on that show, Queen of the Universe.
Oh, cool.
A RuPaul production.
Right.
So Ada Vox, Sammy Gonzalez, Stephen Wayne, me, Tommy Rose. It's a killer show, and it's called Lacage Cabaret. August 10th, 7 p.m. Doors open at 6. You can get tickets at whatsup.vegas. Say it with me. Whatsup.vegas or thecomposersroom.com. And we're cheap. Not
And-
us, the show.
Also, WWDBTV is going to be there. We're
Absolutely.
going to be filming your show.
I appreciate
We're going
that.
to hope to get the whole thing, but
Well, you know what? You should come backstage and like do a little pre. You do what you
That'd
want.
be
It's your
awesome.
show.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. No, that would be
you
great.
Could
Yeah,
interview
we'd
the
love
people,
to.
and then we could do the meet and greet
Yeah.
afterwards. And,
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited.
okay, yeah,
It'll be fun.
it'll be fun. So,
Absolutely.
I'm anxious to see it. I see what you do here at the show, and I know that you are the consummate performer. I know that in working with you a little bit here, you don't accept second best.
Well,
And I think that has probably what has made you as successful as you have.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
We can all try. All we can do is try.
yeah,
You know, absolutely.
and you have a good group, a good team that
far.
are working with you.
Yes.
That I was a little unsure at first.
Sure.
Only because there were so many people involved. But Lynn does a hell of a job in herding
Lynn
cats.
Collier she's been around a long time.
Yeah.
She knows where all the bodies are buried.
Yep.
She's got her finger in everything to do with clubs, restaurants, showbiz, you name it. She's been a part of it.
The other thing that I like about your show is that you also are spotlighting local businesses, entrepreneurs, just things that are going on in
We've
town.
even had doctors on.
Yep.
We had Dr. Jerry Cade,
Yep.
who is now working with the center.
Yep.
And there's a full-blown clinic now,
Yeah.
as you can see. Lucas Serrano, I remember,
Yeah.
was on recently.
That was a great show.
That was, yes.
That was one of those magical moments that happens that's totally unexpected and just comes from left
Well,
field.
the fact that he's a doctor and he sees transgendered people,
Yeah.
helps them work through pre-op, post-op, pre-op, the psychological things that go with it. He's transgendered himself.
Yes.
Which blew my mind. I didn't know till we did the show.
Right.
And I think that's what really made that particular. I thought it's one of our favorite shows we've done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me
it
too.
was really good.
So tell me, how did you get into drag? What was it about drag that you thought, oh, that's cool, I want to do that?
Well, no. When I was a kid, I was just I was a ham. Some of us are just born that way.
Yeah, that's obvious, yeah.
Yeah, well, I was born, I came out, a cocktail in one hand, cigarette in the other. Said, who's in charge here? What the hell? When's the show? And I kind of grew up that way. My parents were very sweet. Coming from a small town in South Texas, it was not easy.
I was just going to say that had to be tough.
Well, absolutely. And of course, I guess maybe that's where I get my strong energy from, because
Right.
I had to really fight for what I wanted to be. And my parents were so wonderful. They just went ahead and let me be. Now, trust me, they would have rather I've been a football player.
Of course.
And I'm going
Texas.
through high school. I've always been a big guy, always.
Yeah.
And so junior high and high school, the coaches would come and beg me, man, you gotta be, we need a blocker. You could really. I wasn't interested.
Yeah.
I mean, sports, I like football, and I like sports, but I would rather be in the band. And I was a trombone player for years. I went
Really?
to every single ball game. I never missed a one because we had to perform at halftime.
Wow.
So,
And you're lucky that your parents, let you
Especially my dad.
let you be you.
my dad was in the oil business with the Sun Oil Company,
Yeah.
Sunoco, but back then it was called the Sun Oil Company.
Right.
And he ran with rough and tough oil field roughnecks.
Roughnecks.
Yeah, drilling. He'd come home just feel. Then he, of course, as we got older and he got older, he became the boss. And
Sure.
he worked offshore, and he always supported me. Even after I got college, I was doing more and more drag. I was not one of those drag queens that was dared to do it. I couldn't wait to do it.
Yeah.
One of my best friends, we grew up in high school together, was Bobby Wing. And Bobby passed a few years ago. And Bobby was, in this business, we have what's known as a drag mother. Someone who, absolutely, if you're going to do drag, someone that's done it already,
Right.
could show you how to properly put your makeup on, what kind of hair you should wear, how to put your boobs in, and how to do it. And I couldn't wait. So Bobby helped me out. And my first show, I wasn't 21. You were supposed to have been. I think I was 19 when I did my first quote unquote professional show in a drag bar in Beaumont, Texas. Believe it or not. And I went on and I did a song from Chicago called All That Jazz.
Yeah.
Come on, babe, we're gonna paint the town and all that jazz. And I had a basic frock that I bought from a big woman's shop. I thought it was beautiful. It was awful. And I went into my mother's closet. She would have killed me if she'd ever known. She had a beautiful pair of silver fox furs with the tails. I mean, very
wow.
chic, very 20s, very,
Yeah.
roaring 20s type.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
had the fox furs and my white fringe dress. And I just thought it was the bomb, absolutely. And anyway, I was a hit because what happened was the MC didn't show up, so they handed me a microphone. Well, that was a mistake. And I've been hooked ever since. And
That's
then
awesome.
thank God I had that format and the venue to be able to do what I love to do. That's how it really got started.
How long does it take you to actually get into character, to get into
Well,
your
over
outfit?
when you've done it as long and as much as I have, it doesn't take as long anymore. But I remember starting out, if you didn't take at least an hour and a half to do your makeup, you weren't doing it right.
Yeah.
And so I'm still at about an hour to try to get it done right. Depends on what the show is. Like for TV, I can't put on too much because,
Right.
I'm used to the stage with real bright lights.
Exactly, yeah, where
and all
you
that.
gotta
So I have
kind
to
of
put a lot on.
cross the line a little bit.
Exactly. So I probably got too much on today. I look like a hooker, I'm sure, but there's nothing wrong with that.
So when you're performing, do Do you like performing for smaller crowds or larger crowds, or
Well,
do you
I
have
like a
preference?
good-sized crowd, but if it gets really big, you kind of lose that intimacy. That's why I
Right.
love the cabaret.
Right.
About 200 or 300 a room is perfect for me
Because
I
you
can
can
actually
still interact with the audience.
I can interact. If
Yeah.
somebody's in the back, I've been known to run off stage and grab some woman with a big hairdo and have my way. Just
Yeah.
cut up, laugh, and that makes me fun. Don't get me wrong. I love an arena, but you kind of have to stick to the script. So.
So, I mean, it's obvious to me in the short time that I've known you is that you absolutely love what you do.
I do.
It's a passion. It's not a job. It's not a chore. It's something that you really put your heart and soul into.
John, it's a lot of work.
Of course
I'm not
it
going to
is.
lie. It's a lot of work. Not so much the actual getting in drag or getting your hairdo done and finding costumes that fit and having things made. That's a lot of work. But it's the marketing and the planning and finding a gig. I was so lucky to have a full-time job with Lage for, it was 22 years on the Strip, with the show 28 years, because
Wow.
we toured all over the globe with the show. I mean, we've been everywhere. Japan,
And that's almost
Canada.
unheard of, to have a gig that long
And the money
in
was
this
good.
town.
And the producer treated us right. He was not the most popular producer, but he was a businessman.
Right.
He's still around. He's quite successful. Norbert, hello. No, and he was good to me. And he let me get on stage as the star as often as I could.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I did my comedy acts, and he would still let us go do our little shows. Technically, we weren't allowed to, but he'd look the other way.
I understand.
Well,
Well, and I've noticed that you're really good at improv.
I love it.
It's. I mean, I haven't seen anybody be able to throw you a curveball that you weren't able to knock out of the
Oh,
park.
it happens. It happens.
Yeah,
But
I
like-
just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
So
Well, there's two things.
and I try.
I know. Two things I've always heard. If you love what you're doing, you've never worked a day in your life.
Right.
The other thing is, I always get the last word. But sometimes somebody does throw me out and go, okay, you win. Let's go on with the show.
So, what is your favorite part about performing as a drag? In
Just
drag?
what we said, to be able to go out there live
Right.
and actually connect and to get reaction. There's somebody that's actually watching what you're doing. I love comedy. It makes me happy. I have a lot of quick one-liners. That's what I really love to do. And the other thing is at the end of the show, after I've done all my crazy shtick, I'm able to come out and maybe sing just a short ballad.
Right.
Where I can sit on a stool and sing a song that means a lot to me.
Yeah.
And by that time, the audience, they either like me or they don't. Hopefully they like me, and they're right there with me. That's my very, very favorite part.
And you like performing live as opposed to on film?
Oh, live is absolutely, yeah.
Because on film you're not really getting that energy back.
I need it. That's what
Yeah.
I feed. That's
Yeah.
what fuels me.
Yeah.
And even if it's a hostile audience, that's fine too. That's a challenge for me. I
Yeah.
got to turn them around. Hey, what the hell? What do you want me to do? Here, whatever you. What's it gonna take with you people?
So, do you have a memory of the worst show you've ever done, or your biggest, like, oh God, I will never live this down?
I'm sure I do. You trying to block those things out. Oh yeah, not every show can be a winner. I mean, you could try. I've actually had to stop a show before because
Really?
it's just they weren't there. They weren't getting it.
Yeah.
And they were all either too drunk or too whatever.
Yeah.
I just go, well, y'all are having. I'll leave you alone. I got your money already, and I don't give a shit. But not very often.
Yeah.
I mean, but that does happen. You got to be realistic.
Do you have a favorite?
Oh, so many.
One particular performance
So
that you say,
many wonderful
if
times.
I never do anything more in my life, this was it.
Oh God, it's hard to pick. There's been so many fantastic. When we went to London, I did the show, the West End. It was so. Every night it was like, I'm in London. I'm at the West End.
The West End in London.
I'm doing a show and they just loved it. And then the other time was not that long ago. I was able to work with some people here in Las Vegas at a show we called the Follies. and it was with showgirls over 60,
Yeah, that
the Fabulous Follies.
that was
And we did it at Sun City Anthem, and we did it at what's the other big Centennial Hills? I don't
Alante.
remember. So
or Aliante.
Aliante.
Yeah,
That was it.
That's
Yes.
I
Yes.
saw the show up there.
And because the showgirls all over 60, one was 90 something years old, gorgeous, and they come out of the big costumes, and then I get to come, and they part the ways, and here I come. I had all my shtick on, and I was just dumb, and it was like, wow, I'm the star in front of all these other stars.
Yeah.
And the audience, they leapt to their feet, they're screaming. I thought, well, you can't ask for more than that.
Yeah.
You really can't.
That Kelly and Kelly Clinton Holmes, and Clinton Holmes was in that.
Yes.
And Kelly Clinton is just, she's one of my favorite people.
She's amazing.
She is so talented, and you never know what you're going to get with her.
Well, that's like I like. I learned from her because
Yeah.
she's spontaneous too.
Yeah, and-
she'll do a ballad and then turn around and make you laugh your ass
And
off.
when I saw her up on the stage there and you know, interacting with all the people,
Yeah.
and the only thing I could think of was, yep, that's Kelly Clinton. That's Kelly being
There's
Kelly.
only one.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
but yeah, it was a great show, and I understand they're going to try to possibly do it again next year.
Oh yeah, it was quite a
maybe some of that,
success, and I think and they had wonderful talent. Vita again
Yeah.
was involved.
Yeah.
Sky D Miles, who I'm trying to get on my show. Sky D, come do my show. Mark O'Toole, so big.
Yep.
Keith Thompson, Tony Arias. They're gonna hate me for I'm not saying that. Suzanne Gibson,
Yep.
Miss Get, one of the big producers that worked for.
Then
Greg
we had some of them here on your show.
A lot of these girls have
Yeah.
been on the show,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That was
and
fun.
we've got some new ones coming. You know, we've had some great. Thank you again for producing our show like you do.
Oh,
and
listen,
helping-
it's great for me, and it's one of the reasons that we're here. It's a platform for people who can't afford to go someplace else or do something, or just have a message that they want to get out.
Sure.
And you know, it's what I do here is my passion. I love what I do. It keeps me out of the bars and the strip clubs and the casinos and.
You need a reason to get up in the morning.
And this is it.
Sure.
It's I have met some of the most fantastic people here, and it's just it's I leave here every time just feeling really good.
Well, you should. You do an amazing job, and
Thank
I
you.
know you're multifunctional here.
Yeah.
We film commercials here. You do
Yep.
talk shows. You do my show. You do Mystic Mona.
Yeah.
What a great show that is.
That listen,
She's amazing.
That when Mona came to me with that idea, it was just like, well, yeah.
It's a great show. It's
And
fun
for
to
those of
watch.
you who don't know or haven't seen it yet, we have a show here called 3.Vegas. And the basic of the show is there are three intuitives. We have an astrologer, we have a psychic medium, and Mystic Mona, who is the tarot card reader, intuitive tarot card reader. And we have people who zoom in, ask a question, and it's answered by each one of the ladies from their perspective. And it's just taken off.
Well,
It is taken.
it's amazing.
It is a phenomenal concept. Everyone, and you've experienced it yourself. And,
Seriously.
and it's live. There's no bullshit.
And it's in your face. And I was recently on the show.
Yeah.
And they all three of them honed in at just.
I thought you were going to lose it.
I kind of did
Yeah.
at one point. Chris, was it Chris? Yes.
Yeah.
She came up with something from my past, and she just pulled a name out of the air.
Oh, that was Rainy.
It was Randy. That's right.
Yeah.
And I just broke down. I could believe. I mean, it's amazing. I couldn't
And
believe
it's not like she could have made that up.
it. No way.
You know,
There's
it was
no way
just-
she would have known the name that she pulled
Yeah.
out was a childhood friend of mine. He was the first. He was my drag mother.
Yeah.
From the 70s. Do I dare say? Yeah, 79, 78, and then he passed 20 years ago.
Wow.
And we were so close, truly like a brother to me. It was just family. And when she brought his name out of, I just lost it. I
Yeah.
couldn't believe it. And then but the message she had from him was to, don't stop. She literally said, Jimmy, he's got his hands on I can't even hardly talk about it.
I know.
Got his hand on your shoulders, and he said, "You go, girl. Don't stop. Don't let anybody get in your way." And that's the way he used to talk to me.
And that's the positiveness that comes out of some of the shows here. It's phenomenal. You know, it shows that there are some super people in this world.
Absolutely.
And it's I guess every time I come in here and every show that I do reinforces my positive thoughts about humanity, that we can do this, we can get along, we can, work as one and
There
and
is
make
still
this
a
better
lot of
place
good
to
in this
live.
world.
Yes.
Thank God.
With all the bullshit and
Thank
the
God.
divisiveness and all the stuff that's going on out
Right.
there, it's a very small part. It's vocal, but it's a very small part because most of us are really pretty good people.
I think I am. I know you are.
Yeah, you're not bad. Yeah.
I try. Man, thank you so much.
I love working with you. I love everything that we do here, and I really appreciate you coming in, taking the time
My pleasure.
to do this interview. It's like that's what my show is all about. Let's see what's out there and who does it with Stiles, right?
Well, you're Mr. Stiles.
That's
You
right.
let me promote my wonderful new show, Lage Cabaret, opening August 10th. That's a Saturday, at the Composer's Room on East Sahara.
Yeah.
Go to, what is it? Whatsup.Vegas. Whatsup.Vegas.
Say it with me.
Whatsup.Vegas. Or thecomposersroom.com and get your tickets. I'm sure we're going to sell out. I just know it. So, Lage Cabaret, thank you for letting me plug.
Is this your intention to? This is just like the starter.
This is what
that
we
you
call
really
the showcase.
want to bring this back.
Yeah,
Yes, the showcase. Thank you.
the
That's the
showcase.
word I was looking for.
You're going to come and film, and hopefully you get
Right.
we'll get some more airtime with you. And I've invited all the press, anyone I could get to come, because what I want to do is continue there. If it's
Right.
a success, they've indicated that they might want to. I hope that they do. And my ultimate goal is to get the show back full time like we used to do, 6 shows a week. Whatever we could do, weekends, either on the strip, downtown. There's so many wonderful places, and we could travel. We're all used to traveling, and I think the show is tight, it's clean, and I could rotate the stars out.
That might be an idea, that you have a circuit where, 2 nights here, 2 nights here,
Yes.
and 2 nights here.
Right.
And you bring your followers like the bartenders.
Absolutely.
Right.
You come see us, you know what we're going to bring.
Yeah.
We always deliver it. It's never the same show twice.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Okay. Well, Jimmy, thanks again.
You too,
I
mister.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
And all of you out there, thank you for the support that you show the shows here at WWDBTV and the studio, and we do appreciate it. And for all of you people who don't watch every week, and remember, if you're going to do it with Stiles.
Style, baby. Style.